Okay, so most entrepreneurs don't fail because the idea was bad. They fail because they were missing a few critical skills. Skills that nobody taught in school, skills that only show up once you're actually in the game. Trying to close clients, build something real, and figure out on the fly. And the crazy part, these skills aren't complicated. But if you don't have them, it doesn't matter how good your idea is, you will struggle. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 skills that I believe every young entrepreneur needs to develop. And the sooner you start, the better. So let's get into it. So look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I had all this figured out from day one. I definitely didn't. So when I started building my first business, I was learning everything at the same time. Sales, operations, marketing, client communication, all of it at once. And what I quickly realized is that certain skills kept showing up over and over again across every successful entrepreneur I studied and every deal I tried to close. It didn't matter what industry, it didn't matter what age, these 5 skills were always there. So whether you're just starting out or you're really in the middle of building something, of course getting these right will completely change your trajectory. Alright, so number 1, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, it's sales. So if you take nothing else from this video, take this. Every single business on the planet runs on sales. Every single one. It doesn't matter if you're building a tech company, a service business, or a brand. At some point, you will have to convince someone to give you money in exchange for what you're offering. And that's it. That's the game. And here's what most people get wrong about sales. They think it's about being pushy. Being some smooth talking person who manipulate people into buying things they don't want. But that's not sales. That's just annoying. So real sales is about understanding people. It's about listening to what someone actually needs and then showing them how and what you can solve for their problem. And that's it. So when you frame it that way, it doesn't feel across anymore. It feels useful. So think about it. Every time you pitch your business idea to a potential partner, that's sales. Every time you send a cold email trying to land a client, that's sales. Every time you walk into a meeting and try to get someone to say yes, sales. So you cannot escape it as an entrepreneur. So the question isn't whether you need to learn it. The question is how fast you're going to learn it. So start now, get comfortable, have those conversations and get comfortable with rejection. Because the entrepreneurs who learn sales early have a massive advantage over everyone else. Okay, so number 2 is discipline. And I know everyone talks about discipline, but hear me out. Because I think most people misunderstand what discipline actually is. So discipline is not motivation. Motivation is that feeling you get after watching a YouTube video or reading a book, where you feel fired up and ready to go. So that feeling's great, but it comes and goes. You cannot build a business on motivation alone. So discipline is what you do when the motivation is gone. It's showing up on a Tuesday morning when you don't feel like it. It's doing the work when nothing exciting is happening. When you're not seeing results yet. When your friends are going out and you're staying in. That's consistency. And that's what separates people who actually build things from people who just talk about it. So the hard truth about discipline is that most people quit. They start strong, they hit a rough patch and then they disappear. So building a business is hard. So there are going to be weeks where nothing is working. There are going to be moments where you genuinely question whether this whole thing is worth it. Discipline is that thing that keeps you moving through those moments. So build your habits, work every day, even if it's just for an hour. Protect your time and stay focused on your long-term goal, even when the short-term goal feels uncertain, because the results of discipline don't show up overnight. They compound over time, and when they do, they are significant. Okay, so skill number 3 is communication. This one is underrated, and I think it's because people assume they already know how to communicate. But being able to talk, it's not the same thing as being able to communicate effectively. So as an entrepreneur, you're constantly communicating. You're explaining your offer to potential clients. You're getting on calls with partners and collaborators. You're sending emails, writing proposals, recording videos, handling objections. All of that is communication. And here's the thing. If you can't explain what you do clearly and simply, people won't trust you. And without trust, there's no deal. There's no client and there's no business. So good communication isn't about using big words or sounding impressive. It's actually the opposite. The best communicators I've seen can take something complicated and make it sound simple. They can walk into a room, explain the idea in 2 minutes, and have everyone completely locked in. So that's a skill, and it's one you can practice. So start by working on how you explain what you do. Can you do it in one sentence? And can you make someone who knows nothing about your industry immediately understand your value? If not, that's something to work on. Also, and this one is often missed communication. It's not just about talking, it's about listening, understanding what someone actually wants before you start speaking. The entrepreneurs who listen well are the ones who build the strongest client relationships. Okay, so number 4 is focus, and this might be the hardest skill to develop in 2026 because we are living in the most distracted era in human history. Notifications, social media, new business ideas every week, a new trend to chase every month. The noise is constant. And here's what happens to most young entrepreneurs. They start something, it doesn't work immediately, and they see something new that looks like a better opportunity. So they jump to that. And then they jump again and again. And then before they know it, they started 5 businesses and finished none of them. That's not bad luck. That's a focus problem. So focus means committing to one path long enough for it to actually work. So most things in business take longer than you think they will. Results are slow at first, but if you stay consistent and stay focused, they compound. The people who build real businesses are not the ones with the most ideas. They are the ones who pick something and go all in. Burn the boats. So that's the game. So protect your attention like it's the most valuable asset, because it definitely is. Okay, so skill number 5 is the ability to learn fast. So business move quickly, technology changes, new tools come out, and markets shift. So what worked last year might not work this year. So the entrepreneurs who stay relevant are the ones who always learns, always curious and always willing to adapt. So think about how much has changed in just the last few years. AI, new marketing platforms, new ways to reach customers. The landscapes are completely different from what it was 5 years ago. And it will be different again in 5 more years. So if you rig it and if you think you already know everything, you will get left behind. But if you stay curious, if you treat every failure as a lesson and every new tool as an opportunity, you will keep moving forward, no matter what changes around you. So make learning a habit. Read, watch, test things, study the people who are a few steps ahead of you. Not to copy them, but to understand the principles behind what they are doing. Curiosity is a superpower, and the good news, it is all for free. Alright, so let's bring it all together. 5 skills: sales, discipline, communication, focus, and learning fast. So these aren't complicated, but they're not easy either. And the difference between the entrepreneurs who build real things and the ones who stay stuck is almost always one of these 5. So you don't need to master them overnight, but you need to start. Because every day you invest in these skills is a day your future competition isn't. So start with the ones that feels most uncomfortable to you. That's usually the one you need the most. So if this video helped you, drop a like, you can subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.